Welcome to another edition of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight Podcast. And I'm Brian Arnold, and your host here, as you've been maybe watching. And so just excited about, all the possibilities that we have of working with real estate agents. And so, when I think of, the Denver market and Colorado and all the different things that go on in this market and sometimes why folks are just looking for help. And so Craig, I can't wait to talk about Craig, excited about it, has been here for about 12 years now and just understands, not only the Southwest side where he spends a lot of time, but he really understands the whole entire Denver metro area. He is considered what we call a luxury agent. And so I'll let him explain all about what that means and how that works and what he can do for you and all the different things. But just wanted to remind you that first, you can do this, you deserve this, and then let us help you, because that's one of the things that our goal is to let us help you be able to get what it is that you want to do. And so, I'm on the lending side and want to make sure that, if you need somebody on the lending side, I'm there to help. I specialize in down payment assistance and that kind of stuff. But more importantly, today is not about me. And you guys know that from one. Today is more about Craig. And Craig, if you could maybe just introduce yourself, tell us exactly how to get a hold of you. That would be phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah. So Craig Blumengold, Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services, Colorado Real Estate, on the southwest side of Denver, but obviously I'll go anywhere within reason. With our state being so big, get a hold of me. Cell phone number is 303-842-6915. That's the easiest way. Send me a text or a phone call. Email takes longer to answer. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And so maybe kind of just, tell us about, your background, where you started. How did you get involved in this whole real estate market and, working in this and maybe some of the things that you've done in your past? Maybe you can share with us a little bit about how that works.
No worries. Yeah. So I went almost 7 years ago, I went through a corporate layoff. And when I got home, had a daughter that's now 12, so 6 at the time. And, you got a mortgage and you got to pay bills. So, sat down with my wife at dinner and said, what do you want to do? What have you always wanted to do? And I said, real estate. So that's kind of started it. Probably should have done it a long time ago. I do love it. I love helping people. And it's a big part of why I do what I do. So.
Oh, cool. So what do you think that separates you from, makes you this exceptional agent? Because, in this podcast, I want to make sure that I'm talking to folks that are actually doing it, helping people that have that special power of just making sure folks get what they came for. So what do you think separates you a little bit from other folks that are in this space, I guess?
Good question. So I don't want to downplay anybody else, but I feel like a big part of my business has been always putting people first and making sure my clients are, their needs and their wants are what I deliver. I'm there to assist them. And then a big part of that is then follow up. And I feel like most of my clients, and obviously not all, but most have turned into friends, family friends. A lot of times they'll meet my daughter along the way because I'm not scared to say, hey, I got to do this and this, but we got to go see a house. So she's going to come. And, when she was younger, it was cute. She'd open doors for people and finagle with the lockbox. And, for the right families, they love that. And then they remember that. And then they refer me out to their friends and family.
Families.
Yep.
Gotcha. So I'm new to town, or I've been in town, and I want some help. What could I do? If I come to Craig, I say, Craig, I need some help. I've never bought a house before. What kind of can they expect from you and the service that you're going to give?
Well, we'll sit down. I mean, to start, right, I'll sit down. I'll lay out exactly what it looks like. We'll go through the contracts as far as buyer agency agreement, what it's like to make an offer on a house. And then, what I usually tell almost all my clients is, I'm okay with you looking anywhere. I'm not partial. I know you're going to go out on Zillow. I know you're going to go out on Redfin, right? But just send me the addresses you actually like so that I can give you my information that we get on our side to make sure we're looking at, apples to apples. And then it's not a selfish reason, but I try to schedule showings in the right order. So we're not driving around town. So give me your list and let me do my work and go through Google Maps and draw a map that makes sense and try to schedule it accordingly. And then try to not go out and see too many houses in a day, because I feel like after 5 or 6, you kind of start forgetting what you liked and what you didn't like.
Yeah, and how do you help them solve that? Because that's a great question. You said, after 5 or 6, you don't even know what you liked and you didn't like.
Right.
And then what I found is sometimes people really, they think this is what they like, but they're not sure.
Till
What
they
are some
see it.
of I see you smiling there. So what are some of the processes that you do to help them really hone in? This is what you're really looking for. I know this is the list you gave me, but this is what really is what's happening.
Well, and that's my thing, right? Because if you give somebody a leash, they'll take a mile, right? And so they'll give you a list of 4,000 things they need in a home. And then when you get down to it and you're sitting in 3 different houses that all have something different, you get down to it and say, what do we really need, right? Because that one has a great backyard. The other one, you didn't like the garage. So, like, what do we actually need? And I don't know that really happens the first or second. It's usually probably the third time you take somebody out when they start to really figure out what they have and want. And I tell my clients, bring a notepad or go on your iPhone and take notes, put your top 3 favorite features and your bottom 3 so that when you're sitting at home 2 days later talking about it, what did we like about that house? And where is it worth the money? And sometimes you have clients, I mean, we've walked in and it's the first house we look at out of 10 and buy that house and they don't want to see anything else. And usually I'm going to twist your arm and tell you, we got to go see at least 3 to make sure, because that's my job to make sure you don't go do something and then hate it and say, you didn't show me anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll still like, if this is the house, you'll still like it after
you'll still love it.
2 or 3, right?
Well, and 2 years ago, it was hard, right? Because things went under contract while you're standing in it. And it was almost like everybody wanted the same house in the same neighborhood. If 4 were on sale, one had 100 showings and the other one had 30, right?
Wow. Yeah, everybody wanted that same
everybody
one.
wanted the same house. So what are you willing to give up to maybe not pay or overpay for a house? What are you willing to give up on?
Yeah. Well, and you talked about that. That's cool that you started talking about the market and what it was a couple of years ago. What's happening now? And then what do you think is going to happen in the next, over this next year with the election and all the things coming up and housing prices and inventory? What are some of the things that you're thinking or you're seeing that you believe that somebody, should somebody wait? Should somebody just get going right now? What are those thoughts with the market right now?
Well, so to me, I'd rather you marry the house, not the interest rate. And I'm sure you told your clients that on the lending side, right? Because interest rates go up, they go down. Will they ever go down to 2 again? I don't know. I'm not an economic advisor, right? I don't know. However, you talk to my parents and their first interest rate with great credit in the 1980s was 17.2. So is 6.9 really bad? Probably not in the grand scheme of things. And don't buy it. I think what it did over time is it put people's perception of reality and what they can actually afford more in line. Because now they're going, okay, so maybe 600,000 is a little out of reach. When interest rates were 2%, that was there. Now you might have to realign and go find that same house for 550. My conversation with my clients, though, is usually pretty simple. It's, listen, like, if you bought this same house last year for 2.8%, you also probably overpay between $50,000 and $100,000. So if we're paying a realistic price for the house, but interest rates are higher, just refinance as soon as rates go down, put that money in the bank. Now you have the house you want and you didn't overpay for it.
Yeah, that makes so much sense and that's going to continue to happen, right? Housing prices are going to, like they were higher. So right now is a really good time. They're going to continue to creep up. So if you wait too long, then you're just right back where you were or even more.
Well, right? And I have a couple clients that have now priced themselves out, right? Because last year they waited. Oh, I'm going to wait. And I said, I wouldn't wait, but I can't tell you what to do, right? It's your money. It's your move. They're single clients, so they don't have a family or, a wife or anybody else. However, they're no longer looking, at least for right now, because they're just priced out. Interest. So,
that can really happen. And you think of, okay, if I wait and I keep waiting, because we have all these folks right now that I believe are sitting on like 2%, in the houses that they want, but they're crammed. They had extra kids. They had extra, I'm not saying they have extra kids. You just have kids, right? And it's bigger than the house that you have, and you want to move and you're ready to upgrade, but you're going, but I got a 2% interest rate, so I don't want to move.
Right.
But then, so that are they settling for not making that move to go up because they're waiting for this interest rate thing to change? and it's probably not going to.
Right.
I don't think that, when you look at, I was looking at some statistics yesterday. I even did a podcast on it yesterday. People want to look it up with Steve Kyles. And since 1971, interest rates have averaged 7.3%. So we're right there where it's at. We had a clearance sale, right? We had a clearance sale in 2019 and 2020. Right. That was the clearance sale where everybody said 2016, whatever. And I don't know if that's going to happen again. I think they're going to drop, election year. They seem to always drop a little bit right before the election. So the current administration could say, look what we did and how we helped you and how the economy worked, right? But, I don't think they're going to go to 2%. I think they may go to 4 or 5. But,
and I said that, I think 2 days ago, I was talking to somebody at I don't know where I was, somebody. Doesn't matter where it was, but yeah. And I said the same thing. I'm like, I don't know that we'll ever see in our lifetime 3%. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that ship sailed. And when people go, oh, rates are low, you're going to maybe see 4.5. And again, I'm not an economics guy. It just kind of, you read the statistics and the past history of it. Like you said, around 7% is not actually all that high in the grand scheme of the world.
Yeah. Right. And then the other big thing is there's only been 7 times in history when rates are the like less than 5% gain in housing going up in value. There's only been 5 times where it dipped below, where it just, dipped below where your housing price was worth, like if you bought it 1 year. And 5 of those 7 years were consecutive. So 2007, 8, 9, 10, and 11 were all where it dipped, and we just had this economic meltdown that I don't think is ever going to happen again. I think we put some stopgaps in place so it doesn't happen. So the other 2 times, it was only like less than 1% that it went down. And so we think, if you wait, then you're looking at, well, then I'm going to pay more for this house in 5 years. You might even price yourself out of it.
Right.
And so trying to wait for it to time some kind of rate or kind of, thing like there. One thing I would love to ask you here is, I talk about superpowers all the time. If you could have one superpower in this real estate game, what would it be and why? And then, go beyond that. What do you think your superpower is that you have now? What is that one thing that you do exceptionally well that is your superpower?
So I don't know the answer to the superpower that I would have.
Okay.
I'll think about it.
Here's what I'll say. Most people say the crystal ball that can say what the interest rate's going to be.
It's a crystal ball, though. That's not a superpower, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, superpower, I guess, if you had to pick one, it'd be like unlimited lead sources without having to do any work. But who wouldn't like that, right? Find me one business person who wouldn't like to wake up and just have people out the door waiting to do business. That's the nature of the beast. So as far as my superpower, I think I'm just really good at getting in flow with my clients. Okay. So I don't know that I'd call it a superpower, but it sure as heck helps me. When I look at my numbers over 6 years and where I'm at in my business, I think that has a big part of it, because if I look at my Facebook or I look at my LinkedIn, I'm pretty well tied to 99% of those people. So, yeah. So to me, I think I guess you could call it a superpower, right? Because I don't know that every agent, I don't want to say invest the time, because it's just something I do natural, and that's maybe my power, right?
Oh, that's cool. And that actually is something I would say is probably pretty special, because there are so many people out there that, whether, you think we have like, 2 eyes and 1 mouth and 2 ears. And if we spend twice as much time seeing what people are saying, hearing what they're saying, watching what they're doing, and not just talking and telling about ourselves most of the time and what we did and how we did it, then we're really good at, finding what person needs and then being able to help them find those exact needs that they need. So I think that's really cool that
so true. But it's funny because you say that and you think about it and you're like, there's always, you can think back every year of your life and there's always that one person and you're like, they're just waiting to shut up so they could talk about themselves. And it is just so incredible. And you think you're in the service agents, the service industry where you're really trying to help people, and then you don't listen to them. I said I wanted blue walls. Oh, you did?
Yeah. But you're really gonna because I like green walls, and
Yeah, I
green
like
walls are
green
better
walls.
for me, so
Yeah.
I'm going to just do green walls. He's like, no, I told
Yeah.
you I want
I
blue
will only buy
walls.
a house with blue walls, and everyone you show
Yeah.
me has had green walls. Ah, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It is so funny when you do that. What do you think, when you, you're working with somebody and you're helping them get to where they want? What would you say your favorite part is? Or maybe give me a story of like a client that you helped that was just so spectacular, and what made that whole process work for you?
Well, I've had a couple, honestly, but you know what I find, and it's funny because in our industry, you get somebody who's like, "Hey, listen, so I'm pre-approved at $1 million and I want a house." Those are not usually my favorite people to work with. It's
Hmm.
really the person who's like, "Hey, listen, like I work hard, my wife works hard. We're 28, we have $18,000 in the bank, maybe. We have two kids, one on the way. This is what we want." So I'd say out of that, I could take out my buddy Dustin and his wife Anna. Um, they're repeat clients already, and so when we first got them their condo, well, we're going back to 2000. I want to say that it was 2019 we bought them that house, which is what it was, 2 bedroom, 2 bath condo in Littleton. She's a postal worker. He's an iron worker. Uh,
Okay.
yep. So they work and they work hard and they have two kids, and so their goal was to live there long enough to be able to upgrade. And we got them that upgrade last year and sold their house for a good profit. And it was great
Hmm.
because that part of it was the joy for me. It was, I sold their house at the peak of the market, their condo, and I was able to negotiate with that on their other side. And we didn't overpay for their house, which is crazy for what we were buying last year. But we were so early in, and we went in
Hmm.
not contingent, even though we had to sell. So stuff like that, those kind of stories are more that I feel like all of us remember that more, right? Because
Hmm.
without me, maybe they wouldn't have done that, maybe they would have, but I helped them facilitate that,
Hmm.
and they're thankful, and they're good family friends now.
Oh, so it sounds like another part of it is not just the being able to flow with people, is creating those relationships.
Yeah,
The relationships that last for years and years and years. And I think some people. I actually heard I was talking to a loan officer the other day, and she says, I realize I'm a transactional loan officer.
well,
And I was like, well, you must not be very good. you know that works in an area of where people will, there's so many, and you just
yeah,
calling because everybody wants to do it, and you really don't have to talk to them. They're okay with
sure,
that.
yeah.
But and I talked to a real estate agent that was that way too. It's like, tell me about the story about some of your clients, and they're like, I don't remember any of them.
You're like, what
Like,
clients, dude? I don't know. I have them written down as number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't. Who are they? I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's so amazing when you start thinking that that whole process of how do you not, if you're really good at this, have like lifelong relationships with just about everybody you've ever done business with.
You
That's
do, and
incredible.
of course, you're going to have
Yeah.
a couple clients here and there that just,
Hmm.
you can't make them happy no matter what, except for the day they close on that house. And yeah, I'm
Hmm.
sure I'll send you a follow-up text and say happy birthday and get no response, and then I'll just kind of call it quits at some point, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you can feel
Yeah.
that out right in the beginning. It's like, oh, hey, how was your day? Well, if I get these guys to the closing table, whew, like, oh, right, let me tell you, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But for one, it's to me in this industry, at least, it's for every one of those, there's probably 10 awesome, great people, super thankful for what you do for them, which
Yeah.
is, somebody asked me my opinion of the lawsuit and everything happening with that right now. It's like, I don't know, if you show your worth and create the relationship, I, I get all the other stuff around it, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but you know,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd have a buyer's agent. Like, if I was a buyer agent, I don't know if any of my clients would say, no, I won't pay him. But,
Hmm.
you know,
Well, and, just to piggyback on that just a little bit, there is. I mean, I know you probably believe there's a good buyers agents are needed, and they're there, especially when
100%.
you think of like the first time home buyer that doesn't know what's going on.
I have no
And
idea.
maybe you could tell me, do you think it's hard to represent, being a listing agent and a buyer's agent at the same time, and your mind's kind of split
It's
across
super
that?
hard. I've never done it.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I mean, they've literally written the real estate law to make it so it's almost impossible for us to do it, right? Obviously, in other
Mhm.
states, you can be a dual agent. But my daughter is now 12, and we used to joke in the car. She's like, so wait, you could tell somebody in your car, this is a great deal, you should take it, and then tell the other person on the phone, you should never take their offer, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And,
How do you do that? You know?
and then go to bed tonight and be like, yeah, I did my best for people. I like
Mhm.
it's yeah. So no, I think it's easier, and we'll see as the market shifts. I think it's easier to represent a seller right now because it's it's not, you're not struggling to find buyers for the most part.
Mhm.
Inventory is still low, even with interest rates coming up. It's I have a listing that's been sitting a couple months, and she understands it, and she's using it as an Airbnb because they don't live in it, but it's a waiting game because it's just going to take the right person to show up. And it's not that lack of effort, lack of marketing. We
Mhm.
just haven't found the right buyer yet. I think,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
feedback on that one has been right in line with it. Right. It's not. So to me, yeah, I don't think listings are as hard. I think buyers are a little bit harder because I think now that they're not being as pressured to buy, with
Mhm.
50 people on top of them in a scheduled showing order, that they have the time, they're being a little bit more picky in what they want, which is okay. Because I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think the Denver metro area has seen a normalized market probably since I got into the business, my first
No,
year and
even
a
from
half,
before.
right? Yeah, and from before. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Mm.
so
Yeah, and you really start thinking about how that whole thing works, and when you look at the how important it is for like a first time home buyer, and I think of like some of the down payment assistance programs that I do all the time, and you say, okay, so we're helping you get this down payment assistance, which is maybe $15,000 to $25,000 that we've been able to because of whatever the reasons are that we want you to be able to get into a house, which I
yeah.
think is great. You get to understand home equity. So how, and then we'd have to say, so, but you have to figure out how to pay the buyer agent as well, you know?
Oh, and by the way, it's like 18 grand. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Can you please pay these guys another,
Uh,
or like right now, I have a really cool, lady who wants to go out and she's looking for a house and she's been saving. So she's been living with her parents the last 10 years so she could save up for a house.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
she has $100,000 that she's going to put down,
Yeah.
and she saved that up. And if I were to ask her, so she's going to buy her $500,000 house. If I were to ask her to come up with another 20 grand,
She can't do
where's
it.
that come?
Well,
Well, we got to wait another 5, 6 months or what?
no. Now then that's a hard conversation being a buyer agent, depending how it all plays out, right? Is
Mm,
you know, oh, by the way, your $500,000 house, now you have to shop up to 475, and you're going to lose all the things you want in a house because you have to
mhm.
pay me to do my job.
Yeah, especially in this market, right? This
Oh,
market where
100%. Well, and then we were joking about it too when it all started. It's like, so there's 3 houses in a row, 2 of which are paying a buyer agent, or 1 that is, and 2 that aren't.
Mhm.
What's going to stop anybody from? And again, it's all going to come down in 5 or 10 years from now. But what's to stop the buyer agent from never showing the client those houses? Sorry, it's booked. Can't get in. My bad.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, but we should check out this one.
yeah.
I I get paid on that one. I don't get paid on that.
There we go. Yeah, and you think of what I think is really cool about our country and our society is we're in this capitalistic society that says the market is going to determine this for us. It
Hmm.
really is. I mean, we can try to put laws and that kind of stuff, but once there's a whole bunch of buyers who aren't looking at houses anymore because they can't afford buyers
They're gonna
agents,
go, hey,
right?
maybe we need to change that law. What? Why?
uh,
But why?
yeah, yeah,
Well, and again, I don't know. To me, it comes down to a listing agent
yeah,
as my job.
yeah,
It's, hey, I know this happened. There's a
yeah.
lawsuit. This is what it says. While I appreciate you not wanting to pay a buyer agency, that's
Mhm.
kind of normal practice. And if you want the maximum number of people looking at your home for our best opportunity to net you the most income, we should probably be paying a buyer's agent to walk through the door, or it's going to be really hard for me to go out and find you a buyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually it'll work itself out, I think, in a really good way.
Yeah.
So we will be good. Well, Craig,
Sure.
it has been so fun,
Yeah.
to have
Absolutely,
this
man. It's great.
conversation with you. This is good. We're kind of running down on time. If you could let just make sure you tell everybody again how to get a hold of you, what are the best ways to do it,
Yep.
and then maybe some closing thoughts, and then we can, and I would love for you to come back. Maybe we can bring one of your clients on
Totally.
and they can talk about it. And this will be
Yeah.
just fantastic to be able to do this because I can tell you're the type of agent who's going to take care of their client, the type of agent who's going to make sure that they know what they want and then get it done. because that's another part of it is sometimes these things string out and, they're going to know exactly what it is that they need to do. They're going to be able to get it done. And it's going to be really cool to be able to get it done. So how can folks get a hold of you?
So again, 303-842-6915 is my cell. Text or phone call, obviously fastest. If not, you can send an email to Craig@BlumengoldHometeam.com. I'll answer that, but I prefer phone. That's it. And then as far as, I don't know, the slogan of Blumengold Home Team when I got into this business was making home happen. And so,
wow, I like that. Making home happen.
Yeah. So
that is cool.
I didn't know, I didn't know the importance of it till I started doing it and got into it. But so that's our thing. And, my team would love to help. So
I love that. And like always, when we do this show, I usually close with three things. And the first thing is you can do this. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you're thinking about this market and thinking about all the tough things that go on, it's still possible. It's still working. People are still buying homes. People are still selling homes. People are still getting loans that work for them. And it's happening. So you can do this. The other thing is you deserve this. And Craig and I kind of talked about this in this conversation is we live in an amazing country that allows you to have home ownership and make home happen. And you deserve to be able to be part of that. And if you're sitting in an apartment and paying that $2,000 a month, or that equals $24,000 a year. And if you stay in that apartment for 10 years, it's $240,000. Let's stop that. You deserve this. You can do this. And the last thing is, let us help you. We're there. We do this every single day. We understand market trends. We understand when the best time in this neighborhood, we understand this. Let us help you. It's too big of a purchase to try to figure this out on your own. It's too big of a purpose just to go to Zillow and hope that you can figure it out. You want somebody who can guide you through and help you through this process. And so we appreciate you guys. Thank you for being another part of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight. Craig, thank you again for being willing to come on. And I love it. So we will talk with you guys later. See you on the next episode.
See you guys.
This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up, because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate, to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's if you own a home, and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. And let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.